The sad truth is that about half of small businesses fold within 5 years. As well as the usual hazards for small companies, traditional businesses like specialist retailers are often the casualties of huge changes in social trends. Closs Hamblin is a surprising survival story. The home and haberdashery specialist has kept their doors open through wars, fundamental changes to customer shopping habits, and now the digital revolution. But is there still a place for independent local businesses in a marketplace dominated by international retail giants? How have Closs Hamblin kept their traditional business relevant in the modern world?
I think as independent retailers, you've got to find your point of difference. I think that's the key element. If you were to open a new shop on the high street today, you'd have to have a good reason why you can compete with all of the different channels that are out there. So you'd need to know that the town was right for you, you'd need to know that there was demand for the product, and you'd need to be adding something that the other people can't do.
When my grandfather first started it, it was 3 years after the Great Depression, very, very tough. My father inherited a business that had sort of been massively run down in the war, where you could hardly buy any textiles.
So I think in the 70s, people were still making their own clothes, and we were very well positioned. We sold mainly fabric for clothing, and the patterns to go with it, and all the sewing accessories to go with it. Obviously, with the rise of sort of people buying clothes and now disposable fashion, where people throw things away, that part of the business is a lot less, whereas actually we're finding people are now buying things for craft purposes, for hobby purposes, rather than specifically for dressmaking or making clothes.
Now I think the sort of internet age and the challenge to high streets are challenging my three sons and how we can find a new way of trading and trading successfully in the high streets.
And I think sort of high street retailers are having to find ways to combat reduction in footfall that the digital economy is doing, as it's meaning less and less people are walking up and down our high streets.
And you know, we've had to adapt to an awful lot of different changes: employment law, technology.
No, I think from our point of view, that it's a good thing. I think small start-up businesses still need to buy their ingredients from somewhere, and I suppose we can offer them their products where they can then turn them into a finished article to sell online. And I think we do see people coming into our business to buy the products that they need to then turn them into the finished article and sell online or offline. Or there's a big cottage industry growing in that area, and I think that will only benefit us. As the dress fabric trade started to slow down, my father found a route into home furnishings. We were buying fabrics from certain suppliers, and they were selling fabrics for both dressmaking, clothes making, and for home furnishing.
I think it's this ability to provide window decoration at fairly competitive prices, but made in a very, very traditional way. The curtains we make will look damn good, I hope, in 8 to 10 years' time.
We are offering to go into people's homes. We're a local high street store. The curtains are being handmade in the towns that they're being bought, and then fitted by a local tradesperson. So I think there's a real local element. Ever since then, we've become sort of real specialists in window treatments, curtains, blinds and shutters.
Some of our customers have been coming in as long as we've been here. They know all our staff by name. They love it. They love coming in here. It's a real community feel, and that's what we're trying to build.
It's the personal touch. It's the getting to know the staff, as we have here. I like to make things. I don't necessarily want to keep it all. You just want that creative part to come out.
So many of the people who work for us come from a creative background, and they love the products, and they know an awful lot about the products before they join us. we're lucky to retain people, and so we retain that knowledge, and then that individual's knowledge gets passed on to newcomers.
You can't maintain that personal contact with your staff if you're a massive chain. It's just impossible to do. It's just diluted, isn't it? All that contact is diluted across so many staff members and coming and going. I mean, we're a small team in head office, family run, but they're also a small team within the stores as well. They've all stayed here a long time. They are their own little families within each store, and their bond is really great, really good.
You've also got to give people the reason to come to you, and that's where we're well positioned, because a lot of the sort of hobby-based stuff which we sell, the crafts, the haberdashery, the knitting, the patchwork, we can add value by teaching people, by demonstrating things, by offering sort of social gatherings, knit and natter groups. There's 85 years of history, and I think it would be nothing better for me than to hand over our business to the next generation of Hamblins, having a 100-year-old retail business. Yes, I just think they might look fractionally different than they do today, but I think the high streets will be around forever. I think the challenge is property costs, there are footfall issues, there's demographic changes, but I think the high streets will be here forever and just may look different over time. And I think those who want to trade on the high street just need to understand the direction of travel and adapt their businesses to be successful in that environment.